This video is solely to reach out to everybody out there who has ever lost a person that was close to them. Somebody who's ever had to deal with something that you haven't done to lose something that meant the world to you. Something that you fought the world to have in the first place, and you fought the entire universe to keep and hold on to this thing, and you still got ripped away from something that you didn't do, and maybe it contributed to what happened, but it's out of your control. I wasn't the greatest person in the beginning of a relationship. Many of you, if you've watched any of these videos, you've seen all the stuff that I've talked about. It's been put all over Facebook. My life is an open book. I'm at the point now where I'm consumed daily by thoughts that I can't control. Just every single thought in my mind is about my daughter. Every time I see something, I'm reminded somehow. Every time I think about something, I'm reminded how I don't have her. How she's not in my arms. How I go to sleep every single night broken. I've reached out in the last week and a half to every single page and every single news crew and every single person that I can possibly imagine to get my story out, to tell people about what's going on in my life. Not just for publicity. I mean, there's a portion of me that's like, yeah, I want to be in the spotlight. I've always liked attention. Since I was a little kid, anybody that's ever known me, I've been the center of the attention, the center of the room. I had to control everything. I was a little asshole when I was a little kid. I used to steal from people. I grew up. I busted my ass since I was 4 years old. I went knocking door to door. I have a picture in the County Post. I always worked hard, but I got wrapped up in a lot of stupid crap. I started smoking cigarettes early on. I started smoking weed really early. I started doing pills when I was little. I was probably 12, 13 years old when I started doing pills. It just stepped up and stepped up and stepped up, and it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And even though I took care of my business, I graduated school early, I was still wrapped up. I was still doing coke, I was drinking, I was doing pills, I was smoking a bunch of weed. I was a druggie, and I was selling it all. And I didn't care about what was going on in my life because I didn't have anything to worry about. I don't give a fuck kind of attitude about everything, and I didn't care about anything in my entire life, until I wanted to get out. I lost everything. I had a bad fire. I lost everything in this fire. I had a bunch of weed and all my money and all my stuff, and I burnt myself real bad. I moved away and then moved home after I crashed a company car, and then I moved to California on a magazine crew. It was the first time I got out. And I finally got out, and it felt so amazing. I got ripped right back here. I basically came back here, started saving money, and my only goal was to get out again. Finally, I got out, and I made it out. I was doing amazing. I was on my feet. I was working for an industrial hygiene company as a respiratory precautionary trainer, like I've said before. I was doing amazing. And that got ripped away from me, too. And then I came back from California to Wisconsin. I didn't plan on staying. I was going to leave again. And I was dating Jessica still. We mended things before I left California, so I came back from California dating Jessica. I went through Houston and stayed there for 7 days. And it was a beautiful 7 days. I enjoyed it very much, and we're still friends today. I came back here, and then I had a round-trip ticket to go back down there, and and things broke away, and we broke up, and all this stuff happened. And basically, I gave up again. I moved in with my brother, and all this crap started happening again, and things started falling apart, and I started getting back into all this crap, started smoking weed again, started doing blow again. And then Ruben, on Halloween night, he died in a car accident, and he was my best friend. I grew up with him ever since we were little. He was the only guy that ever understood me. And, he was like my brother. I lost my brother. And it threw me for a loop that was so deep I couldn't get out. If it wouldn't have been for Lisa, I would have died. I was so low. She saved my life. I did so many drugs. We were all both on a bunch of pills. We were both doing a bunch of blow. I was selling it all, trying to make money. I got us an apartment, and she was working at the truck stop, and we were all fucked up all the time. She almost got fired from her job because we were all messed up, and I couldn't hold the job, so I basically struggled, and we both, moved. We moved all over the place. She moved back in with her mom, I moved back in with my dad. We stayed together, and then she got pregnant. But still basically doing all this stuff. Not the blow. We kept smoking weed, and I slowed down on the pills. I told her I would quit. I promised her over and over I'd quit. We argued and argued and argued and fought and fought and fought. And I was still wrapped up. Like I couldn't get away from him. No matter what I did, no matter who I hung out with, it was always around it. And I tried. I did. I tried my hardest. But every time we argued, every time we fought, it was pushing me lower and making me upset. And I would grasp onto the closest thing that I could get away from. Anything to not feel. So I threw everything away. I gave it all up because I cared about my own feelings more than I cared about hers. As much as she pushed me away, and she didn't make it easy for me. It wasn't like she was a great person to me either. We both did a lot of things wrong. I remember I smacked her one time. We were always throwing each other around, pushing each other. She smacked me up quite a few times. She said that I held a knife to her throat, but really, we were in my kitchen at the apartment that we first got. Within the first couple weeks we were together. And I had to explain this on the stand, so I have no problem explaining it to you guys. I literally walked up to... She threw a plate at my face. It was a big dish that my grandma passed away right when I moved back before Ruben died. And my dad gave me... My biological father, Donovan, gave me a bunch of stuff. And I had this big dish. It was like 2 inches thick. She threw it at my face. I told her that I cheated on her because I was mad at her. I wanted her to get out. I basically just wanted her to leave. And she threw this thing in my face. I put my hand up, and it hit my pinky. It literally broke my pinky. And I walked up to her, and she grabbed a knife that was sitting on the counter. She, grabbed it like she was going to stab me with it, and I've been stabbed. I got stabbed in the leg. A black guy stabbed me after I stuck up for this girl that I was kind of with. I almost died. I bled out 3.5 pints of blood. He hit my femoral artery in the back of my leg. It went through my left upper thigh. He got me with a 6-inch buck knife, so the blade was 6 inches. I had the serrated edge on the back. He pulled it out and ran. And, so it's something that I just, I'm not scared of knives. It doesn't faze me anymore. So she grabbed the knife, and I looked at her, and I smiled. I grabbed her hand and turned it to my neck. She looked as if she was going to kill me, like she was holding it, I grabbed it, and I turned it to my neck, and I said, "You going to kill me? Come on, slit my throat. Do it. Slit my fucking throat." And that's exactly how I said it. I said, "Yeah, exactly. Don't threaten it if you're not going to do it." And I grabbed the knife, and I threw it. I literally, we were both fighting, so I grabbed some of her stuff and threw it out of the window. Or threw it out of the door, The door was like a straight down into the hallway, and then there were steps that went down and then to the left. her dad was on her way, his way to pick her up and all this. It was just a bad argument. And she turned that around on me and said that I was going to kill her, and I got on top of her and I held the knife to her throat and all this. I picked her apart on the stand, and the judge told her she was a liar in open court. The day that the judge threw that out, the DA pressed the same charges for domestic abuse. So I had to fight criminal charges. From that point, I got a lawyer. I had to fight it. My lawyer called the DA, talked to the lawyer, had the transcripts read, and I proved that she was a liar in open court, so it was thrown out. That got dismissed as well. After that, me and Lisa started talking again, and I documented every single text message for like 3.5, 4 months. I still have every single text message. It's, I don't know if we can, let's look at this. Alright, so let's see, let's go down to Lisa, and we'll see how many text messages I actually have. And we'll just go through some of the stuff that I would say to her. Just so you guys have an idea. I'm sick of trying to explain to everybody and trying to prove to everybody that this is for absolutely no reason. This is right up until the day. I'm clicking, back and back and back over and over and over again. So this is going back through all these text messages. Okay. I tried to be so good to her. It breaks my heart. I literally did really do everything that I could. Everything. She knew about everything. She tries to act so naive. I'm going to read these. This is the truth. This is the absolute truth. There is no lie here. It's going to tear me apart to read all this. To see all this again. I can see half of it and I can't even read it, and I know it's going to kill me. I'll keep this video on the text message as I read it, so you know that I'm not lying about anything that I say. And you'll be able to see the truth. I've wanted to do this for a long time, but I could never really work the courage up to do it. I've always had so much respect for her, even when she really doesn't respect me back. And digs. It's not like I'm not an asshole to her every once in a while, but I'll leave it at that. I'm still going back. It's February 6th already. On February 5th, were sleeping together. So I'm still going back. I'm shaking right now. I don't know, guys. I don't know. So to explain a little more of my story, I'll post another video of me reading all these because I'm almost on 16 minutes, and I'm just clicking back to get to the beginning of them, and I'm still clicking back and back and back. This is months and months and months of text messages. Okay, the truth is, you guys are about to see the absolute truth. This is no lie. You know that you can edit on a like, I could take stuff out. If there was stuff taken out, you would notice. But literally, like, you can't fake text messages to text messages for months. You can't. You just can't fake this. This isn't separate text messages. This isn't printed out. This is literally on my iPhone 3GS. Okay? This is everything from that day. After we broke up, and Mia, I struggled to get clean the whole time we were together. And she knew I wasn't. I was lying to her. But I wasn't all screwed up all the time. I couldn't be. She would kill me. So I basically, I tried and tried and tried. Okay. I literally... I did do my best. And she gave up. One morning I woke up. And I was hard. And I said, "Baby, I'm hard. Let's have sex. I didn't say it like that, but I was like, you want to do something about it? Kind of cute." And she's like, "Yeah, right." And grabbed Mia and walked out of the bedroom. And at that point, I basically gave up. I went and sat down by her in the living room and I said, "Do you even love me anymore?" I looked her right in the eyes and she looked back and she said, "Yeah." And I knew she was lying. Just by the way she said it, the way that she swiftly said it back without even a thought in her mind, just to say it, to tell me what I wanted to hear. And I said, "Do you really mean that?" And she said, "No." So I gave up. A couple weeks later, I slept with this girl. It was my best friend's girlfriend. It was Christmas Eve. It was a Christmas Eve party. And I literally, I was so messed up on a bunch of Xanax and drinking booze, and somehow I ended up with Kayla at my house. Slept with her that night, slept with her again the next day, and then slept with her again. Bobby doesn't know that. Bobby's kind of turned on me a little bit, thinking that I'm sleeping with his girlfriend again. Yet he forgave me after all this happened because I showed him the truth. She was lying. She lied to Lisa and said that I drugged her drink, and that I took advantage of her. And I never would ever do that to anybody. Lisa never let me prove it to her. Lisa never let me show her the text messages. She was so broken and parted. It killed her. I begged for her to let me, and she wouldn't. I tried and tried and tried to plead with her to let me show her the truth, but she wouldn't let me. She believed it. Like a woman's word in that respect is so truthful. You don't lie about shit like that. And she was lying through her teeth. And she did it because she didn't want Bobby to be mad at her, of course. So I showed Bobby all these text messages, and he forgave me in my car, sitting in his driveway. And then Kayla pulled up, and he was like, "So you want to see if she'll lie some more in front of us?" And we got out of the car, and she's sitting there, and she threw her head into her hands, and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening." Busted. And I mean, I was thank God, if I hadn't had those text messages, I would be in such a world of shit with so many people still because of what happened. Thank God I had an iPhone like this to keep all these text messages. I'm still clicking back, by the way. I'm on January 28th. So, I tried, you guys. I tried very, very hard. And you're really going to find out how hard. She never let me prove it. She slept with me. I'm at the beginning. I have text messages from January 27th at 7:51 p.m. until months later. The court date was January 26th. I'm going to end this video and start a new one. And you guys will see the absolute truth.